it and involve Coco and EJ and picking up the spirits back from the Philippines. But right now, actually, like it's more of just again encouraging TODAK, encouraging them, telling them, hey, maybe as Lafel said, allow Formays to play from the jungle. I think they really are just reaping the benefits of this new form.
Yeah, but for Maze, I think it's kind of limited into not necessarily just the Hayabusa, but probably two or three more heroes. And for me, Todak can just swing with what they did yesterday. They did great with that. They took down Evo's SG. Evo's SG that come out from
And it will put a lot of pressure on them. And
Yeah, that's right.
and here we go. We got Ashi as well as Ducky.
Ooh, it's going to be an interesting matchup. I wonder.
bracket. So yeah, I'm thinking right now maybe BREN Esports just because of that loss, they were awakened as well. There are these things that they need to adjust, and knowing how adaptable this team is, they might adjust just on time for this certain match. Well,
Great point right there. And of course, I really want to point out that so that right now they showed another different side of the card. Like yesterday we did see Formays really stepping up, and everyone was talking about the group stages. Like, oh, it's all about Chiku. Now that it's another point where Ren has to take note of, do you think that this is something that could be a problem for Todak now that two of these cards has been exposed?
Personally, I think it's one of those notable mentions here because again, Formays usually going into that side lane, you don't get to see that happen too much. But against a team like BREN, now that he goes into the jungle and brings out that Hayabusa, BREN has something to think about just a little bit more.
Yep, and one of the things that I think BREN here, Rebo, Carteezy, Few, Lusty, and Flapteezy have to consider is protecting their mid lane. I think I found out through some study last night. I contemplated like what went wrong, and it's right here. Carteezy, Few, Lusty, these three young men in the middle. I think if you attack the heart of BREN this way, right? If you're able to shut down hero choices on Lusty and Carteezy, invade on him and make Few make odd decisions as the shot caller, as the captain, then you're on your way.
Honestly, I think it's between Rebo and Formays here. Both of these guys, again, yes, you can attack the heart. These are the people that you should be looking out to take out. However, these are also enablers to set the team up. I mean, looking at the TODAK lineup, Formays, X-Ray, E1, Moon, Chiku, you know for a fact, E1, Moon, and Chiku being a good majority of the damage for that team, it's very easy to forget about X-Ray and Formays coming out from that side, coming out for that flank, setting up bigger plays, similar to what Rebo did.
Yeah, and of course, so we're going to be moving in towards what Butters have to say, but now they're fielding X-Ray once again as compared to Stu. So, your thoughts on the entirety of this battle?
I'm actually looking at the player composition here for both of the teams. Like I think for BREN, the thing that they're lacking is an anchor, a reliable player that will just keep them on the ground whenever everything is going in flames. Like they're going in chaos, they don't have that player because when they lose the early game, it usually just goes into a loss.
You know what?
But for Todak, E1 and Moon can be reliable for their team, so that if they have a bad early game, they can keep anchored to that. They have this reliable players that will tell them, "Calm down, we got this. Let's just go for it."
Yeah, of course, we got to see whether they got this or not. And for all of you guys out there, you guys can make your predictions and, of course, get all this great stuff happening throughout the M2 run. Complete tasks and predict the champion to win M2 coins. Exchange M2 coins for exclusive rewards, such as the special avatar borders, the skins, as well as battle emote, also the sacred statue. Or better yet, if you guys got some extra diamonds to spare, you can get yourself that Clint Shadow Omen skin that can be gained directly for 899 diamonds.
Hopefully this isn't, a foretelling of what's going to happen here. Because again, these guys need to be able to kind of protect each other in a very particular manner. And I think the draft is going to give us an idea of what weapon they're actually going to use. Are they going to look for that dive composition? Are they looking to control the waves more often than not? Are they looking for invade strategies? And based on what we've seen in the group stages, as well as the first day of playoffs, level 1 to level 2 invade strategies don't seem to be very popular anymore.
And I think that's going to be beneficial for BREN Esports. Like, just in general, on paper, again, we have been a victim of our own prejudice towards numbers, right? Like, numbers usually bite you in the behind as soon as you're like, oh wait, that wasn't as I predicted. But a team like BREN Sports, history will say that they're always good when you're not messing with what they've got. So if Carl Tizzy has a free go, if he can just clean up his waves, clean up his camps in the jungle, he's going to be fine. And them being on the play here, taking out the Claude, they might have something else in mind, because Claude here is one of those carries, those junglers that want to take their time. And it looks like Carl Tizzy, I smell some blood here. He might go for something like a Lancelot or a Ling.
I kind of get BREN Esports here with that Claude ban. Did you see how Chico farmed and
Out of the side
out
lane.
of the side lane?
Yeah.
Game number 1, 7 minutes in, he already had a Demon Hunter Sword to a Golden Staff. This guy just flash farms out of nowhere.
I mean, flash farming is like, it feels like nobody knows how to do it correctly. And these are the top players. They know how to farm extremely efficiently. They know how to not only take the wave, but join the fights and not lose out on that extra gold. And I think that's one of those things that a lot of teams, especially for amateur teams, need to start learning to get to this professional level, to this M2 or Worlds level.
And also judging from the fact that they are going in for such bands like Sylvana and the Claude, as mentioned earlier on, they're leaving a lot of all these power picks up available for BREN Esports from the get-go. So honestly, TODAK has to pick carefully what they want to remove up next, or else they might just see even more advantages going in favor of BREN.
And I like this banning for BREN. They don't ban out just because this hero is strong in the meta. This is what RRQ Hoshi does. They just don't ban out heroes just because it's strong.
Yeah.
They ban it out because they did their research on the enemy team, and they just ban it out because they don't want him to get that hero.
Yeah, it's not just the status quo. It's because you're planning something. You're going to
Yeah.
do something with this, not just because you want it to be a fair game, right? You don't want a fair game. You want a one game. You want this to go your way. And right now, TODAK, they seem to just still be on that. There's nothing wrong with this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying it's what it's what's standard. It's what we're expecting, right? It's the Brody, it's the Natalia. If Jawhead shows up somewhere on the side of TODAK, could expect the same thing as well, or maybe even Esmeralda. But BREN Sports, they seem to be going for something very specific.
Mhm.
I do think that the Esmeralda needs to get banned out from either BREN's side or TODAK side. Oh, they get rid of the Yi Shun Shin. It was speaking from which, Butters, you're absolutely right. These are very comfortable heroes that TODAK has pulled out multiple times. And if you check the numbers, yes, they have pulled out. Moon has picked up Sylvana many, many times in the group stages itself. Claude, as well as Yi Shun Shin, having some of the highest win rates in the tournament itself. It's something to keep note of.
Yeah, and honestly, just tracking back towards that Sylvana ban, we've seen so many of all these other matches that have been played out in the entirety of today's run, and Sylvana has been that sort of the core pick where you can also flex. So now with that being removed, what are great replacements for these two teams?
That is going to be a tough, the hard question to answer, but it's going to be Matilda. Let's just see what the draft brings us, because to be honest, I don't really know what to expect from BREN. This is the first time that I'm seeing them react to whatever the other team is gonna do.
Jawhead. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Leo, you.
I think they are going to want to hit the first three first, or I'm guessing it's a big tell if you hit for your first pick something really good in the side lanes or something really good in mid. Like, that's going to set the pace for the rest of the draft. And for BREN Sports, for Ducky and the gang, there you go. It's going to be a side lane. It's going to be Esmeralda. That's what they were playing for, and it comes through.
Yeah, and honestly, they definitely left this one for the taking. And even better, we were talking about target bans, but nobody has attack formates on his Hayabusa pick as well. So do you think that TODAK could potentially snatch this, especially facing Esmeralda is not really the best opportunity to take her down with Hayabusa?
I mean, I would agree here. I didn't even notice that Esmeralda just actually slipped through the cracks here, which is a big no-no in a lot of these situations, especially in pro play. TODAK on the other side picking up the Benedetta, and I think at this point, it's like you have to kind of question whether you want to have that utility or you have something that Esmeralda can just absorb the shields for, but at what cost? So Baxia going to be one of those pseudo counter picks.
Going E1, again, this is something that we know him for, a really good P We're gonna start up Lord, and now it's Lusty who's in trouble. Moonchar